The moment she slid her wedding ring across the table, it made a soft sound, barely a click, but it felt loud enough to crack something inside me. "I'm done, Adam," she said. No shouting. No tears. Just a calm, exhausted finality that scared me more than any rage could have. I can't live like this anymore. I stared at the ring, a thin gold band we'd chosen together in a tiny shop in Lahore, on a day she said would be the beginning of our forever. Now it lay between us like proof that forever was weaker than whatever had gone wrong. What do you mean you're done?" I asked, even though a part of me already knew. She looked at me with eyes that had once held fire and warmth and mischief. Tonight they were empty. "You know exactly what I mean." And the truth is, I did. I wish I could say her suspicion blindsided me. I wish I could pretend the late nights at work were real, that the distance between us just happened, like weather. But that would be another lie, and she'd had enough of those. Her name was Maria, the woman I should never have spoken to. A coworker who laughed too easily at my jokes and listened too closely to my frustrations. What started as venting turned into messages, inside jokes, and eventually a kind of emotional escape hatch. Not physical, not once. But emotional? Yes, absolutely. And emotional betrayal leaves marks you can't hide, especially from someone who loves you. The first time my wife, Zara, asked me if something was going on, I denied it. Too quickly. Too defensively. She watched me for a long time before saying, almost too softly, "I can feel when your heart isn't in the same room as your body." I told myself that because nothing real had happened, I wasn't doing anything wrong. But every time my phone buzzed and I flinched, she saw it. Every time I turned slightly away to read a message, she noticed. And tonight she'd finally had enough. "Zara," I whispered, reaching for her hand. She pulled it back before my fingers even grazed hers. "Don't," she said. Her voice was steady but trembling at the edges. "I need honesty now. Not touch." My throat tightened. "Nothing happened with her." "Nothing physical," she corrected. "But you gave her a version of you that you stopped giving me. Do you know how humiliating that feels?" I closed my eyes. Shame burned through me. She stood up from the kitchen table, the ring still lying there like a corpse. "I'm staying at my sister's tonight." It was then, at the moment she picked up her bag, that something inside me broke open. A clarity, sharp and painful, sliced through the denial. "I ended it," I blurted out. She froze. Slowly turned. "What?" "I ended it," I repeated, breathless. "Today." I told her I couldn't keep doing it. That it was wrong. That I loved my wife and I was destroying everything. Zara's arms folded across her chest. "Why didn't you tell me that?" Because I was afraid you wouldn't believe me." She stared at me, eyes glistening with a bitterness I'd never seen from her. "When you lie for months, you lose the right to be believed." Fair. Painful but fair. I didn't sleep that night after she left. I walked through our apartment like a ghost. The couch still smelled like her perfume. The bathroom mirror still had her fingerprints at the edges. Her mug, blue, chipped at the handle, sat on the counter waiting for morning tea she didn't make. By dawn, I'd written her a message apologizing, then deleted it. I called once. No answer. I didn't call again. By afternoon, I'd turned my phone upside down on my desk at work and forced myself not to look at it. But right before leaving, I saw an unread message. From Maria. Just one line. "So is she gone?" My stomach twisted. I reread it, hoping I'd misunderstood. But it was clear. Blunt. Cruel even. The kind of message written by someone who wasn't sad or heartbroken, just waiting for a door to open. I felt disgust rise inside me, not at her but at myself, at the version of me that had allowed this to exist. I wrote back, "Never message me again." Then I blocked her. It felt like slamming a door on a storm I'd stupidly invited into my home. Zara came back the next evening. She didn't bring her bag in. She didn't sit down. "I'm not promising anything," she said quietly. "But I'm willing to talk. Just talk." I nodded. "Anything. I'll answer anything." She took a deep breath. "Show me." "Show you what?" "Your phone." My heart hammered. But not because I feared she'd find something. For the first time in months, there was nothing to hide. Silently, I handed her the phone. She went through everything: messages, call logs, social media. When she reached the blocked contact, she stared at it for a long moment. You blocked her yesterday? Yes. And before I left? Yes. Her shoulders softened. Not a lot, but enough to see she believed me. She set the phone down. I don't know if I can forgive you, she whispered. I don't expect you to. Not tonight. Not for a while. Maybe not ever. But I'm not letting go of us without fighting for it. She swallowed. Her eyes filled but no tears fell. And what if I'm done? Then I'll still spend the rest of my life wishing I hadn't made your heart feel small. That line, honest, unfiltered, broke something between us. In a good way. We talked for hours. Not apologies and explanations, real talk. The kind where you confess things you didn't know you'd been carrying. She told me how lonely she'd been. How invisible she'd started to feel. How every time my phone buzzed she felt smaller. I told her how lost I'd been. How I'd mistaken attention for connection. How nothing with Maria ever felt real. Not the way Zara did. The truth hurt. But it was clean hurt. Necessary hurt. 3 days later she moved back home. Not fully. Not with trust restored. But with a willingness to try again. She didn't put her ring back on right away. 2 weeks passed. Then one morning as I was making breakfast, she walked into the kitchen wearing it. Freshly cleaned. Shining like the day I slid it onto her finger. She didn't say anything. Just placed her hand on the counter next to mine. I'm not done, she whispered. Not yet. I closed my eyes, letting the relief wash over me like forgiveness I didn't deserve. No, it wasn't a perfect ending. It wasn't wrapped in a bow. We still had work to do. But sometimes the moment that changes everything isn't dramatic. Sometimes it's a quiet hand placed next to yours, ring and all, telling you that hope still exists. Even after betrayal. Even after breaking. Even after the soft click of a wedding ring being taken off. Sometimes, love lets you earn your way back.